after the test, that's fine. But you can't use the review. You can use your warm-up. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is graph our two parent functions. Okay, so the first one is going to be your exponential parent function. Okay, so your exponential parent function is y equals 2 to the x. And then remember that it has a horizontal asymptote that you can't touch 0. So when you draw your marker point, remember that since it can't touch that HA, it's right here, Lachey, honey. Okay, you're going to go one box above that. And then remember that technically your graph should double each time. So you'd hit 2, then 4, then 8. But as long as your graph looks like an exponential growth, that will be good enough. Okay, also keep in mind that you do get a graphing calculator. So that should help too. That if you have a question about a graph, don't be like afraid to type it in, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, then for your log parent function, instead of having a horizontal asymptote, you're going to have a vertical asymptote. So let's label this one HA, y equals 0. And then your log has a VA at x equals 0. And so instead of me stepping one box above the origin, I go one box to the side of the origin. So that'd be right here. And then remember, you go down and towards, out and away like that. And your equation would be log x. Okay, so remember that exponentials, that's this one, okay, and logs cancel each other out as long as they're the same base, okay? All right, then let's just kind of run through a couple of questions, make sure you kind of remember how to use your chart and all that. If you have a log with no base listed, does anyone remember what the base is?
10.
10, so plug it in right here. Any logs without a base are considered log base 10. Okay, remember that you're going to use negatives for any fractional basis. And then in case you forgot the buttons on the calculator for the log, it's alpha, window, and then 5 is log base. And it'll give you the log with both the small box and the big box for you to type it into. Okay? All right, let's work some questions. Number 1, my log has no base. What is it? 10. That's a log little 10. How do I get rid of a log little 10? Use a big 10. So big 10 on both sides. My big 10 on my log little 10 crosses out. X minus 4 equals 10 squared. Okay, then I notice that my X is regular size. Then I want my 10 squared to be just a regular size number as well. So you can type it into the calculator or you can look it up in your chart. What is 10 squared here?
100.
10 squared is the same as 100. And if X minus 4 is equal to 100, then what is my next step? Add the 4 across, X equals 104. Very good. All right, next one. I have a log little 2. How do I undo a log little 2? Big 2. So I'm going to big 2, big 2. My big 2 on my log little 2 crosses out. I'm going to keep 64 equals 2 up to the 5x. And now I notice that because my x is little, I need to turn this into the same type of thing. So look in your 2's chart for the number 64. What is 64 as a base 2? 2, 6. And if 2 to the 6 is 2 to the 5x, then remember I can cross those 2's out, just set the tops equal. So my 2 and my 2 are gone. And I have 5x equals 6, then divide by 5 on both sides. Okay, and then for your test, if you want to do a decimal or a fraction, I don't care, it's fine, either way. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna leave it, but you could divide that if you wanted to. Okay, number 3, you cannot get rid of it with a log right away because you have some extra numbers. Do I get rid of the times 3 in the front or the minus 10 in the back first? Minus 10 is correct. So plus that 10 across. What's 50 plus 10? 60 is correct. Okay, and then at this point, don't do this. Don't try to times the 3 and the 6 together. Okay, you can't do that. I want to get rid of the times 3. How do I get rid of a times 3? Divide. What is 60 divided by 3? 20. Now, at this point, I'm going to look in my 6's chart and try to turn 20. But then I notice that's not possible. Look at your 6's. Okay, the smallest 6 in my chart is a 36, so 20 is not going to work. Then how else can I get rid of a log big 6? Log little 6. So remember, if the chart won't work to get rid of the big number, then you log little that same number. And then a log little 6 on a big 6 crosses out. Your x is going to just come down, and then you'll find this number in the calculator. Okay, remember, your buttons are written on your cheat sheet for you. So it's alpha window 5. So alpha window option block basis 5. Okay. Then we'll put 6 in the first box, 20 in the second box. 1.671. So the 67, if it's followed by a 1, would stay a 0.67. Versus, remember, if that third digit is 5 or up, you would bump it up to a 68. Okay, take a look at number 4. What do we get rid of first? If it's a divide by 4, I get rid of it by timesing by 4. And then the 4 and the 4th are gone. I have my e to the x plus 1 equals 8 times 4 is a 32. And then if I want to get rid of a big E base, what do I do? ln, because remember, what's an ln? It's a log little. So big E and ln are going to cross out. Okay, remember that you do have a shortcut for the ln button. It's kind of down by the 4 on the keyboard. So I'm going to find the ln of 32. I got 3.465. And then how do I get rid of the plus 1? Minus 1. Remember, just like on the homework, you don't want to round till the very end. So I'm going to take that long decimal, take away 1 from it, and then I'll round it at this point. So I got 2.46 followed by a 5. So what would that round to? 2.47. Very good. Okay. All right, you'll notice that you do have an example 5, but it's kind of up by your charts. We're going to do one more. Okay, I have a 1/216, and I have a 36. Now, if I had a 36's chart, I would try to find 216 in that, but I wouldn't find it. Remember that if your bases are not compatible as is, you just find a chart that they're both in. So look at your different charts here. Do you see a 216 and a 36 in the same chart? Which one? Yeah, 6's.
Yes, 6.
So I'm going to use the 6's chart so that they're both in the same one. Okay? So my 216 is going to turn into a 6 to the 3. Remember that your old base is going to still be there. My 36 is going to go to a 6 to the 2. Now notice I can't cross those 6's out right now because this 6 is on top, but the first 6 is on the bottom. So what do we use if we have a fraction? Use a negative. So my 6 to the 3 is going to become a 6 to the minus 3. That way I can cross those guys out with each other. Okay, so if it's a fraction, you just apply a negative to the exponent. Then from there, what can we do with the 6's? Okay, and then remember that if your minus 3 is next to an old exponent, you'll have to times it in. So negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. Negative 3 times minus 2 will go to a plus 6. What will my next step be? Minus the 6. 2 minus 6 will give me a negative 4. And then divide that minus 3 across. So your x for that would be 4/3. Okay, notice that if they're both negative, then they're going to cross each other out. Okay. All right, last thing, I feel like we've done so many examples of this, but remember your log rules. So I'm just going to point them out to you on your sheet here. Okay, if you have a log plus a log, remember you can combine with multiplication. If you have a log minus a log, you can combine with division. And then remember that if you have a little front number, you can pop it up to the top and put it as an exponent. Okay. Then last 2 things we're going to fill in here. A square root is the same as what power up top? 1/2. And a cubic root would be the same as a 1/3. Very good. And remember, the reason that you need to know those is if you have a log with a square root in it, you turn it into a 1/2, then drop it down to the front. Okay? Y'all have any questions? Okay. Sure. Right there? Yeah. All right. Remember, if your test review is on your desk, will you double check that your name's on it? Okay, that means that when I come bring you your test, I'm gonna come back and pick it up. If your test review's not pretty much done, just put it under your desk. You can still turn it in for a 90. So don't turn it in as like a 50 if it's only halfway there. Just put it away, and then when you're done with your test, you can finish it after. Okay? All right, so you're gonna do great. Tobar, will you put your Chromebook away? Yeah. Huh? I'll come back and grab that inside. Yeah. I'll come back and grab that. Huh? Thanks. Okay, then real quick. Oh, I didn't think of one. On your graphs, let me give you